Welcome everybody to another episode on Backpass with Ras, with your host Ras. And wow, man, we had two false starts due to a technological fault.
Technological failure.
Yeah. And so because of that, we've got a delayed release of this episode. And it's only now that we are recording this episode and we'll be out pretty soon to you. And joining me on the show as usual, we have our resident young man, Kelvin. How are you? I heard you're a bit unwell.
Yeah, just down with cough and flu, but nothing will stop me getting on here, man. This is the one thing I look forward to. I was actually quite sad that they got delayed, actually.
My bad.
And you want to comment on my excellent work on my hair today?
Yeah, well done to get it.
Thank you. I call this the side spike.
The 3-5,
The
4-5 strands you got.
Side spike.
All right, guys. So Kelvin, today we are meeting the Don.
Man.
The Don Darwin, formerly known as Darwin Jalil.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on the show, Ras and Kelvin. It's an honor to be on the show to speak to you guys.
Hey, Darwin.
Man. It's an honor having you here.
There's a build up there, Darwin, for you. I build up for you. Anyways, for those who do not know, Darwin is the Deputy Chairman of the Singapore Premier League club Balestier Khalsa and the Football Association of Singapore Council Member. He's also a former schoolmate and polymate of mine. So yes, Darwin.
We go a long way back, yeah.
Very long, very long.
Darwin, you're lucky he didn't wear his St. Andrews jersey today or something like
that. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, it would have been brilliant, right? But I actually have another show after this. So that's I'm here, dressed in this.
Hey!
93-94 Manchester United top.
Good times.
So yeah, Darwin, this show, the first part of it, we'll be talking about retro football. So football from the 90s and 2000s, which is around where we got to know of each other as well. Yep. And first section, we're going to speak to you as Darwin, the fan. And actually, those of you listening in, I'm not sure how many know this, but Darwin is a diehard Manchester United fan. Which year do you start supporting them, Darwin?
I come from a family background of Liverpool fans. So for me, yeah, I grew the love for United. It goes way back in late 92. Yeah.
And why Manchester United? You could have been a Liverpool fan, right?
So basically what actually made me fall in love with United is on 26th of November 92 when they signed Eric Cantona from Leeds, for 1.2 million. A player of such great character when he was playing for Leeds, his charisma, and his allure on the pitch was matchmaking in heaven for the Red Devils. Then so basically his debut, if I'm not wrong, was on the 6th of December against Man City, where United won 2-1. Was a bit underwhelming, but after that, the 1-1 draw against Chelsea 13 days later on Boxing Day, and a goal against Sheffield Wednesday on Boxing Day, was the start of my love for United in 92.
Yeah, okay, that's about the same time I started in 91, the season before. So I know about Cantona at Leeds because he was one of the protagonists of that Leeds team that won the first division title, the last ever first division title, and beat United to that title. United were leading in that season and they lost it. You could say they choked and lost that title. And it made a difference because that season 92-93 we didn't start too well as well. And and he made a big difference.
Right.
And as the rest, as we say, the rest is history.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've heard our shows before, but we did do an episode looking at the three great teams created by Sir Alex, 1994, 1999, and 2008. Manchester United team was special for you, and it could be any of the teams outside of these three. And tell us why as well.
I mean, basically 94 was a special team because of Eric Cantona, but I would have to go with the 99 team basically. So the balance, the flair of the team is second to none, and there are many memorable greats that played for the team. The boys from the class of 92. You've got Peter Schmeichel, you've got Dwight York, you've got Andy Cole, Sheringham, Roy Keane, and of course the just departed manager Ole, and that magical night in Nou Camp, the goals in 91 plus 1 and 91 plus 3 is something that I will remember for the rest of my life. And of course, not forgetting 1 point league win over Arsenal in that particular season. And in that season also winning 8-1 away against Nottingham Forest, and with York finishing the season as joint top scorer. These are what made that particular 1999 team memorable and one of the great teams for me.
Okay, just going back to that 1999 season. Okay, we both were in school at that time, 15 years old, secondary. What were your memories on that day? Because that match was, early in the morning, right? And then after that, we had school to go to.
Yeah. So you mean the Champions League final?
Yes.
I almost, to be honest, and at about maybe 85th minute, I almost gave up and wanted to off the TV, to be honest. But I just felt that, something was coming and I think it was gonna be I mean they were basically not on the back foot, they were still pushing, but I thought, all hopes almost lost. But I just hang on to watch and continue to support the team. And to my surprise, in extra time, things, I mean, when the goal went in at 90 plus 1, it was a different hope altogether, and that the team is going to push all out to go for the win, and at the very least is for the match to go into penalties.
Yeah, true. Even I did not expect that 2 goals in injury time, because we didn't play really well on that day, and Bayern had quite a few chances to finish it off, but they didn't take it, and then that 2 goals went in, and I was like, wow, believe.
I think Michael played pretty well that game.
Yeah.
Michael played pretty well.
He shut out the goal pretty much, most of it, and I think that was one of the key points of the game, led to United victory.
Yeah, his final for Manchester United as well. So despite all the success Manchester United achieved in the 1990s and 2000s, which trophy do you feel regret about missing out as a fan?
I think for me, it has to be, the Champions League Rome final in 2009, where we lost 2-0 to Barcelona. That would have given us back-to-back Champions League titles, having win it against Chelsea in 2008. I felt that was a bit of a waste. Yeah.
What do you think would have been different? What could have been done differently, do you think, for that final?
I think it was in a case where moving up, I mean, the prelude to the finals in the semis and all that, they played pretty well. I think they got a bit overwhelmed in the final. And Barcelona had a better game, better possession and all that. And even despite that, we were still attacking. But I think luck was not on United's side on that night.
I think Alex Ferguson said that Barcelona was pretty much unplayable that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he came out to say that, that's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy good team as well.
Right. So imagine someone like Sir Alex who had so much success, felt that, Barcelona was one class above. Yeah. So it's a different level.
That was the start of that Barcelona glory era.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. But yes, I think personally, I felt probably the first few minutes we had few chances, half chances here and there. We were running them close. If we had taken one of those chances, I think the game would have changed. But these are ifs and buts right now.
Well, 10 years ago, man.
Yeah. Your favorite Manchester United player of all time?
Cantona? That's easy. It has to be Eric Cantona, for his larger than life personality. Someone who made me, Raj, my first love was rugby. Yeah. And for someone like him to draw me into the game, and became a fan ever since. Okay,
I'll give you a second choice. Who do you have as second choice?
The second, if for recent times, of course, it will have to be Ronaldo, while other people see him as a finished product, we lived through times where he came as a youngster, scrawny little bugger, playing a friendly game for Sporting Lisbon against United, and then went on to don the red jersey, and then again improve himself and led the club to success. So for me, he came a long way, and that was the start of his stardom, and no better club to do it than at United.
Okay, moving on from club football to international football. You're a fan of Germany. You start becoming a fan. What age and why?
Okay, so basically, I come from a family of sportsmen. So always on TV. It's either going to be Malaysia Cup or European football or English football. So when I was 12, it was Euro 96 in England. And it was on my 12th birthday, actually, on the 9th of June, where Germany kicked off the group stage and winning 2-0 against Czech Republic. So that was the game where Ziege Moller scored in the game. And in the second game was where my all-time favorite German player, Jürgen Klinsmann, scored 2 goals against Russia in a 3-0 win. So that gave me a stamp of approval as a German fan. And so basically why Germany is because of the clinical and the precision football that they have played over the years. It really won me over. Like, it's a bit different from what you watch in the English Premier League. So it was an appeal to me lah. And that is also one thing that I did study very hard and apply in my teams when I ran Project Vaults and all that.
Okay, that's cool. Jürgen Klinsmann is my favorite German player as well, all-time favorite German player. And I think in that tournament you had Matthias Sammer, a great tournament, right?
Yep.
So in the 90s, of course, Germany won the World Cup in 1990, and then this one, European Championships in 1996. So it was a great generation of German players. What was it about this generation that made them great?
I mean, in World Cup 1990 was the last year they played as West Germany, and then part of the reunification, they have since played under one Germany since, and the talent pool they had was a result of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and they had a larger talent pool than before. So having said that, they also had a great manager in Bertie Vogts who managed great names in world football at that time. And he was basically, prior to that, assisting Frank Beckenbauer for West Germany. So the succession was a bit seamless. So they had a formula for success and had the talent to go along with it, with the combination of East and West Germany.
And Bertie Vogts was also a former World Cup winner, right? 1974?
Yes, right.
Yeah, so after all this success they spoke about, Germany started dipping from 98 to 2004, with the exception of 2002. They then started picking up again in 2006, but with a different style of football to the teams in the 1990s. Share with us the difference between the teams in both decades.
I mean, like I told you, I studied quite a bit of German football to come to this conclusion. So to me, it all boils down to this particular man by the name of Dietrich Weiss. After the success of the Euro finals where they won in England, he actually, in somewhere around, I think, August that year, he sat the DFB president, Dan Braun, and said that, they need to work on the youth development, because after the reunification, the talent pool, they had good players, but the pipeline was not constant, right? So they were only concerned about the youth national team and not really the regional teams and all that. So then back then the youth development was more on the regional federations and the clubs, not really at the FA level. So Vox had the idea to install one German FA coach inside every regional federation to conduct additional session and to make sure that they follow the blueprint of German football. So Weiss was at the time the manager of Liechtenstein, and the FA president instructed him to come up with a viable blueprint for German football. So basically what was said was Braun visited Weiss and said, we are bidding for the World Cup in 2006, and we need to have a strong competitive team in place just in case if we win the vote. So with that statement to Weiss, everything else was history with the new blueprint. They improved the infrastructure, they improved the coaches' education, and they had a new breed of German footballs born with that. And with the new philosophy instilled, the results was for all of us to see what we see German football is today.
Wow, that is it. We didn't know about this. Thanks a lot for sharing, Darwin.
Thanks, Darwin. Open up my mind today, man.
Yeah. Okay. Because from the outside, when you're looking in, I would see, 98, they had almost the same players that they had in 96.
Yep.
Then they were already aging.
Yep.
And once, so then they got knocked out in quarterfinals of that World Cup, went to the Euro 2000, they got knocked out in the group stage.
Yep.
2002, I think they overperformed with that.
Yeah. So basically, you see, I mean, it's current with what we are facing here also in Singapore, right? So all great European teams that we've seen, whether it be the Belgians of the past few years or the French team and all that, there are one point of time where you really need to relook at your youth development, you know, where the pipeline of players going to come from, what's happening, and how many players can we depend on in the years to come. So I think the Germans identified it early. And what I also didn't mention was they became more inclusive. They look at players who were half Germans, basically the Turkish-born Germans and the Armenian-born Germans, and include them into the national team. So that actually broadened the playing base and the talent base of the game.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Because like the French, we know what they did as well with their foreign-born players. They include them in the Clairefontaine Academy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, correct. That's right. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the retro section, the section where you talk about Darwin, the football fan. I guess Jürgen Klinsmann is your all-time favorite German player then.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's the kind of typical fox in the box. Every half chance you give him, the ball is in the net. Yes. And it's such a joy to watch, seeing his movement off the ball, getting into right positions, and it's so hard to mark him. With the way he moved away from his marker.
Yeah, correct, true. And he had that, blonde hair as well, long blonde hair. And, I remember when he was at Tottenham, he celebrated with a dive.
Yeah, exactly.
Mocking at the journalist who said he was always diving.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I think he was a great player. He was great. I think my favorite German player. So thanks a lot for sharing your memories, Darwin.
My pleasure.
We bring to the end section 1 now. In section 2, we have Kelvin talking to you about present times.
Looking forward.
Welcome back. We have the Don here with us. Really sharing his insights on the German football, and also, United in '92, Eric Cantona. Oh man, what a player he was, man! What a player he was. Ras putting his collar up already. Oh man, I didn't. I was too young to watch Eric Cantona. I appreciate his way of playing, but I managed to watch some YouTube videos growing up. My first game, it was the 1999 semi-finals against Juventus. That was my first game. I saw Paul Scholes play, and then from that day onwards, he was my favorite player all throughout. So coming down to the present, Darwin, man, coming down to United this season, what great expectation we had earlier the season. Leeds trashing, Ronaldo coming back. We had Varane, Jadon Sancho. Where shall we start with them? What are your thoughts on them?
I think it was a lot of expectation, and it's a lot to ask from Ole. So basically, to me, to be a United fan is different today, because a lot of the fans today became fans when United was in their glory days. So I feel that a lot of the general fans out there, they are really greedy for success, and many of them make comparison to time under Sir Alex. And of course we all know, for us and myself, we come from a time where the club was not doing very well, and we had pockets of time where the club did not dominate English football, right? Yeah. So to be honest, not many people can emulate his success, that what he have done, right? Thus the heavy weight that was brought on Ole's shoulder to bring back the glory days, and especially with the arrival of Ronaldo, a lot of expectations and all that, is very hard. Okay, so for me, in my view, United setup alone is a problem, right? It's not just based on Ole alone. In my view, the technical setup in United backroom pose a little bit of problem for us, because Ole is a manager that have not been really tested at the highest level, right? So in order for someone of that, he was basically more of the legend status. You bring him back to the club, win the fans over. So
feel good factor.
Yeah, feel good factor. So he needs to be assisted by really experienced people, I feel, right? So having Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna, not really the best experienced people in the industry, and even although they have Mike Phelan, but the point is that he had a good experience under Sir Alex, and of course, but he has been away from the club from 2013 to 2018. In 5 years, many things changed. The quality of players, the overall gameplay, and I feel that on my own personal thought is Mike Phelan is a good player management coach, right? He can manage players. You give him all the stars. Yeah, his man management skills is excellent. But tactically on the field, I'm not too sure. With today's football, whether how his experience is relevant to counter the likes of Man City, Chelsea, and even right now you look at West Ham flying high. It's not an easy team to beat. Yeah, so I'm not sure whether
he's the one leading them.
Exactly. So the irony, right? Yeah. So I'm not too sure if Mike Phelan is the right senior figure in the backroom staff to lead Ole's team, right? So, and of course, the quality of players, I feel that there's no right combination of players to play. And whenever, I mean, even in real life football, in my view, if my player make a mistake and doing it the same week in, week out, I will bench the fella. But in United, it doesn't seem to be the case. You've seen a lot of errors from Fred, a lot of errors from Maguire, and of course, like every other sport, if you have a captain who makes mistakes, then you won't be able to lead because people always hinge on your leadership, right? So 100%. If you are not able to lead with minimal mistakes and make the best of yourself, then it's very difficult to get the best out of your teammates.
Okay, I got to slide in one question. I know we didn't agree on this, but just because it's the latest development, Ole got the sacked earlier today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So he is gone, but they kept the backroom staff. So I don't know, man, what's going on? But what do you feel? Who should come in next? What do you reckon?
I mean, even you know for the fact that the best managers always have their suite of support team, right? So if you are gonna bring in somebody on his own and then expect them to work with whoever you have, then you won't get instant success, right? So it's gonna be more like a mentor figure where you come in and you are helping these younger coaches to learn. So having said that, then the message to the United fans have to be very clear that the club is in transition, not expecting results immediately, and with that, giving the younger coaches room to grow. But I think what we really need now at United is a feel-good factor. We need to have wins, in whichever form, whether this week in the Champions League, winning the group stage and winning the game and qualify the group stage, or whatever. They just need something, a feel-good factor, turn of events. Yeah. So 100%. It's very tough whoever you bring in and you don't allow him to bring his own team to achieve what he did before in his previous employment.
100%. Well, I watched this interview today and it was pretty sad. Seeing him like that, he's a very jolly guy.
Yeah, he was very emotional towards the end, right?
Towards the end, so it was very strange seeing him like this. But you know what? Hey, that's life. You at a top club, you gotta be on the ball. So would you say, Don, their lack of success after Fergie was just down to their top management and how they have, like you mentioned, is the technical side of the game or technical team? But would you say it's based on the top management and how they are running the club?
For me, is what you define success. We might not have success or trophies, but I think United as a club has got a lot of success in the past few years in commercial perspective, right? Yeah. So I think no other club has garnered such financial gains over the years, lah. And to me, in going back into football success, I think what lacked in the other managers after Sir Alex was basically goes down a lot to youth development. The board has to really buy in that you can't. We are United. We can't be like Real Madrid or Barcelona where you buy players, and even Barcelona have their own talent previously, right? Yeah, PSG. Like PSG or Man City for that matter. Yeah. So over the years, like you see, very prominent class of '92, and then later on you still have got your Rashford and everybody else, but that didn't come through just like that, right? And the same like what we quoted and spoken about in Germany in 2006, a constant breed of young players have to come through the ranks, and that will make the base of a successful team. And then whoever you bring in terms of the star signings and all that will just fit in well and play, because your they don't come in to change the play, but they come in to make the play more lucrative. Yeah.
Make the
100%.
difference. Yeah.
Do you think, I don't know, like everybody is saying, talking so much about Ronaldo, he's getting the goals, but is he the one for us now leading the club into the future? What's happening?
I think I've got a lot of conversations with people about Ronaldo. What I think we fail to understand is this: Ronaldo is no longer the same Ronaldo as before. Yeah. So for us to play, build up play, and expect him to break through the lines with speed, is not going to happen. So what happened in the past few games, if you look at United, was this: they had great possession outside the box in the final third, but they were clueless on what to do with the final touch, right? So for Ronaldo, it's a very straightforward play. You get the wingers to cross the ball, he's going to be there. You look at the last game, even though we lost 4-1 to Watford, the couple of crosses that come from the right, he was there, you know, whether offside or one that was over the bar, but that is Ronaldo for you. You have to supply him the ball, and you can't expect him to work the ball into the box. It's not going to happen, right? So if the supply is constant and there's creative play coming from midfield, I think Ronaldo is a very important asset in the box for us.
100%, 100%.
Very effective, yeah.
Very effective, but that guy, man, I mean, win, lose or draw, it's such a joy seeing him play for our team again.
Exactly.
That's what I believe. Okay, Don, back to the local scene now. No, I have you on my Facebook. I see a lot of your pictures all the time. Vice chairman at Balestier Khalsa. I love your team name, by the way. It's a very symbolic name, you know, for us, you know. Sikhs in Singapore. So tell me about your experience there as a vice chairman in Balestier Khalsa. I've seen a lot of fun pictures, a lot of initiative you have started. Just if you can share your experience there with me.
Basically, I joined them in December 2017, preparing for the 2018 season. So I came in as a vice chairman as well as a team manager for the team. So I've got some experience running successful amateur teams like my PV team, Eunos Crescent, you know, at the lower level we won. And it was a natural succession for me to take up the role because it's one step up. And many people misunderstood the role I play at the club. Basically, I'm a volunteer, you know, I'm not paid. So many people think, wow, Balestier pay me very good money. Yeah. See, exactly what I said. A lot of people have that perception that it's a paid job. So I'm here as a volunteer, but I spend a lot of time at the club on a daily basis. It was first tough to fit in because the club, of course, had culture, history, and all that. You know, Balestier was one of the oldest club in Asia, having originate from Fatu Karib, then Balestier United, and now Balestier Khalsa. So the first 2 years, I spent a lot of time on commercial and marketing side of things, where I bring my experience in the corporate world on the table and try to bring in partners. So that's where I started to work with all the brands that we have today, like the Jeep, the Western, and the Adidas, and all that. So that took a couple of years to build, you know. And then, of course, off the field, we have transformed the club. And now it's a known brand in the local scene, although our results on the field have not been great. But of course, that is also part of a transition. And this year, with the change in the coaching staff and all that, we are in motion for the next part of the club's revamp. Yeah. So yeah, and majorly I felt that like you said, the symbolic name of the club lost its touch with the roots since you know, prior to this, where we had the Sikh community behind us, and of course led by prominent names in the Sikh community, you know. So that's where I started working in this off season to work back with the community groups, the Bhangra groups, the fan base. So next year, the Sikh community will be behind the club. They are forming support groups at game days, and we're gonna have very Sikh-like performances with the Bhangras, with the dancers and all that on game day at halftime show. Yeah. So the whole idea was to bring color, vibrancy, and noise to the stadium, you know. And of course, right now, I'm sure, like Razvinder know, the other non-Sikh person that has got more Sikh fans than anyone else in Singapore will be me, you know.
Yeah, correct. Yes, I can testify to that.
Oh man, but really, you know, I think it's great what you said. You know, I think it's always ideal to go down to the grassroots level, you know, to get everybody involved again, and you know, and start up from there. So what can the fans of the Singapore Premier League, other than this vibrant grassroots or initiative you're going to start, what things can they look forward to next season from your team? So any exciting signings, anything we can know about?
So basically, it's been a major change at the club, from the office to the technical staff to the players. I think this is one of the biggest hard restart Balestier Khalsa have had, letting go almost every of our experienced senior players. And we even worked on renovation on the secretariat, and bring in Akbar Nawaz, which is a strong statement of intent from the club to revamp the kind of football that we play. So for me, I am a person who likes playing on the ground, fast moving football. So the appointment of my technical staff, from the head coach to the assistant coaches and all that, is helping me to realize this dream and of wanting to play attractive, fast-paced football. So in terms of players, what we've recruited are young, but not necessarily inexperienced. They have been around in the league for at least 5-6 years. People like Darren, even one of your community person, Delwinder, these are names. Yeah. Nice. So these are names where we brought in. These players have always been on the fringe of like national team and all that. They were 1 cap, 2 cap players kind of. So I think they have a lot more to offer. We are going into the league with a very, very reasonably young but experienced squad with the average age of 23.8. Which I think is gonna resonate well, because, like, say for example, the oldest player we have in our team is Delwinder. Everyone else is 24, 25, and we have more full-time players now compared to before, where we rely a lot on youth, on students and all that. So we have students still, but these students are more full-time, right? So, and typical away from the normal SPL training or what people would think SPL sessions are like, we have introduced classroom sessions to make them understand the technical aspects of the game, how we want to play. So we even do mock videos for them 1 day before the training, for them to understand what they'll be doing the next day. And also a lot of players, we're getting a two-way response. A lot of players are also questioning and asking how they can do things better, whether this will work if they try something else, this kind of stuff, which to me, I'm personally excited, because I've not experienced local football in this sense, where the level of proactiveness and engagement is very strong between technical staff and players.
It's crazy. Would you say Lion City Football Club is now your benchmark for all Singaporeans team?
I wouldn't say. I mean, it's different. They are fighting with good money in their coffers. For us, it's not about the money, but forming what a football club should be like, with whatever we can afford within our means. And like never like before, Balestier have strategized our signings, our budget very well. If you notice on social media, we became the first club to reveal contract figures for players. Yeah. So that created a lot of talking point. Of course, you have haters. Somebody will say, play this much, not worthy to play professional football. But that's the reality. That's how much money there is in the game. And we are daring enough to put it up front, because we want to debut that mindset that Balestier plays badly. And we also want to rebut the mindset that there is actually decent money in the game. It is just that, to me, I always feel that I will pay something for what it's worth. I will not pay something over the actual value of the player. Yeah. So basically, what we have offered players and what we have revealed in terms of their contract, just to make it very clear. Some people are debating, saying that
haters out there,
they are saying no, including bonus and all that. No, this is their basic deal. Basically, basic plus. Yeah, I mean, it's their basic pay. Bonuses, we can't put a figure to it, because it all depends on what we offer at which stage of the station of the season, you see. So for those people who are in doubt, I would urge them to listen to this recording.
This is a great one, man. I can't wait for next season. Are we going to get like special tickets as well, back pass? We can come
anytime, any moment, anytime, any game. Yeah, just reach out to me. Yeah.
This is fun. This is fun. This is fun. Hey, I'll be honest. I haven't really watched Singapore football for the longest time. I did catch here and there. I did catch the last game, Lion City versus Balestier. But what I did catch was your esports team. So I just want to congratulate you for winning the ESPL tournament.
Thank you.
I watched your two guys. They played really well, and I was actually watching for fun. I ended up just sitting there and just watching it throughout, and I found it really entertaining. So, talk to me. What do you feel? What's happening in the esports space in Singapore?
I mean, ESPL I think it's the second edition. The first one, I believe, won by Tampines. Was it? Joel Chu played for them and all that. Esports has become a very big
100%.
thing, right? So
Yes.
what happened is, we are the first club actually to have a full-time esport team. Not full-time as in they compete on a weekly basis on 3 different facades. One is the Pro Club 11 versus 11. So basically, that particular squad, we've got 18 players, which trains and plays every Thursday. They train prior to that over the weekend or on Mondays.
Wow.
It's basically 18 players playing different position, and just like a normal football game, you got 11 players playing, so you got a lot of coordination. You only control one particular character in the game. So yeah, so that is a new trend now with the pro clubs, and of course we've got our 2v2 and 1v1, which will be playing in the FIFA E-Nations Cup. So for FIFA E-Nations, we just qualified the pre-qualifiers. We won all our games in the pre-qualifiers, and now we will go into the next the qualifying round. So that you're playing against the clubs with the likes of Man City, Barcelona, and all the major clubs in the world. So I feel that we with Akil and Ricky winning the ESPL, it resonates well and really really put the messaging of esport out there very strongly.
Well, I was so mind blown when I saw it, because I was very much into esports, and it was my first time coming across ESPL. I was really blown away by it. But really, congratulations! I hope you keep on growing this esports space, because, like you said, right, it's a great platform for the up and coming players. I think this might be the future as well. You never know.
Yeah.
So, are you, other than esports, a couple of good signings? Growing the grassroots, are you working on anything else which is like fun right now at Balestier Khalsa? What is your next project?
So basically, the first one was the FIFA E-Nations thing, that was something quite fun. This has actually put us on the same platform as players. Esport players from all over the world: Man City, Barcelona, Schalke, Leipzig, Melbourne City, Roma, name it. There's a lot of football clubs in the world today. They have their own esport team, and they are also grooming them with a strong lineup of players.
100%.
So this will go into the World Championships for the E-Nations, and it's just like a World Cup, for E-Nations. So that is one fun activation that I'm doing with Balestier. The other one is we revamp our social media this November. So basically, we are doing a lot more content now. We will be launching the BKFC TV soon, where we put all our videos and behind the scenes, more interviews. Even you catch recently, we did the questions segment with Akbar, with fans asking him questions and he replying them on a video and all that. So I feel that we want to elevate the social media works to be on par with global football clubs and give our partners that we are working with real good mileage from this content, and of course making this content more appealing and savvy for the younger generation.
Amazing. I think with social media is the only way you can go and reach out to what you say, the younger generation, and get them involved and get them excited over your team, Balestier Khalsa.
Yeah, having said that, I just have to add in one point. When I first came to the club, it was a shock to me, because I have had a handful of fans, really less than 10 fans in the stadium, and majority of them are 40 and above. It is like really very solemn kind of football match to watch with this kind of support. But over the past 2020 was a closed door. 2021, when we open our doors back to fans, we've got so many young fans below the age of 25 coming to
Wow.
the game. So this is credited to two things. One is our involvement in esports, where we are getting traction from the younger pool of football avids, and the other one is of course our merchandising and all that, where we reach out to do the pride campaign and all that, and to become more inclusive to all segment of the community. So that translated to younger and more vibrant fan base that we have today.
Fantastic, man. Don, I wish you all the best. This is really, really, you see, you got me smiling now, you know. I'm so excited for what's going to happen next season. I can't wait to watch you guys on the field and also follow you very closely on social media. Okay.
You should go down to the stadium.
Yeah,
sorry?
You should go down to the stadium.
Actually, Don, you don't need to
Especially since he said there's Pangla, we're going to go down.
You just get Ras to just come down and do a performance for you. Should be fine. anyways, okay. More of a serious matter right now. I heard that, I understand that you are a council member at the FAS.
Yep.
Tell me more about your role. So this year, like a couple of months, I've never heard of the FAS, and then suddenly, and then the news were all coming out about the FAS. So tell me about your role there. What do you do for the FAS?
I'm into my second term. My first term was 2017 to 2001. We had a re-election earlier this year in April. So this is the second term that I'm serving. So being a council member is not like what people think, you know, everything, all the decision goes through us, right? So we all serve in various committees. Like for myself, I am basically serving in facilities, security, special needs and disability football. And I'm also assisting the business development committee in FAS. We don't get involved in every decision making. That is the secretariat and basically the general secretary and his team that makes the day-to-day operational decisions. For us, it's more of the broader picture of football, like the annual budget, approval for programs, forward planning for the various aspects of the game. So it's not very much like what people think, you know, like a normal small boardroom where every day-to-day questions are being thrown in and we are supposed to be answerable to all of that, you know. All of us have our own jobs, so it's not something so easy. But I think it's been quite a fruitful time for me. I'm able to contribute at a level where I previously was one of those who made noise against FAS, you know, seriously. So today
I'm all making noise at them. Yeah, it's FAS fault.
So now that I'm here, I realize that things are not as easy. There's really not enough money in the game, and there's not enough commercial support towards Singapore football, and I think those are angles that we need to constantly work on and change. And I think what best to do that is to, like what I mentioned I'm doing for Balestier Khalsa, is to change the perception, reach out to the right target group, because these are the future supporters of the game.
100%. Strange you talk about the budget, because I've been told that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been told that soccer has football has the biggest proportion of the sports pie. They call it the budget pie. Football has has the largest proportion. So would you say it's not enough, or?
I mean, yes, football having the largest pie, not forgetting football is the largest number of participants as a sport in Singapore. So that translates to the higher budget. And we are the only professional sport in Singapore, right? We are paying players full time. Of course, he has to be the largest. If not, something is wrong with the way we appropriate the funds, right? So yeah, having said all this, in comparison to what you all know now, like how players are getting, and compared it to Europe and all that, it is still very little, right? So having the biggest budget but yet being paid so little, then the balance is just not there. Because forever, you know, players will keep comparing themselves to the global community, how much they are earning, what are the kind of exposure they're getting and all that. And of course, in everything that we do as Singaporeans, we want to be the best. Having that in Singapore is a bit tough, because football is something which is really community based, and you need a lot of facilities, you need a lot of time being spent onto the game. And the reality is, as much as we want football to be better, the priorities of Singaporean have not changed. Education is still the number one priority, right?
100%. Yeah. Which is good. Which is good.
Good. We are producing people of the future, but at the end of the day, you know, one particular job there are so many people fighting for it, right? Somebody have to play football, right? Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, and if we
I
want,
would gladly do that. I would gladly play football nowadays, man.
if we want to make football a continuous, viable career for Singaporeans, I think we need to look more in depth into the development and also the facilities that surrounds the game.
Well said, Don. Well said. We had multiple guests on Backpass. Ex-players, management, fans of the SPL. Who share what they actually felt about Singapore football. I always ask them because I was very curious, and I always wanted to know what they felt about Singapore football and how it can actually improve. So now, you being a FAS Council Member, I want to hear your thoughts on the current situation of the Singapore football and what is in the pipeline right now. I know you mentioned you are doing something what you're doing with Balestier Khalsa, you're going to do with FAS, but what are the listeners for Backpass, they want to know as well what is in the pipeline for you to improve.
Okay, so basically, I just have to say out this disclaimer. Whatever I'm going to say now is in my own personal capacity and not a capacity of a council member.
Okay.
So basically, in my view, there are a few things. I have touched on some touch points earlier about how the game can improve. And I think we need to relook into the pillars and the strategies of football as a whole. We need to really seek major drastic improvement in our youth development. We really need to look at the availability of facilities right now, because given that such a small square area island like Singapore, we actually have a lot of football fields to go around. I'm sure Russ knows, from his days organizing amateur leagues, we actually do have a lot, but it is just how these facilities being made accessible to people. On a typical Sunday, for example, Russ have to go online and book so many fields, but there are other fields which are available and untouched, right? So this was supposedly reserved for certain programs, but it's not being used, right? So today, what I'm saying is the very first basis to even talk about development or improvement, we need to have fields to play on. So we need to look at that on a better system on how these fields can be made available. And I also feel that we need more elite teams across all levels, whether be it professional or the semi-pro or even amateur leagues, like what Russ used to organize, with a more vibrant and rejuvenated football scene. We will have players coming up through the ranks in all aspects. There is not enough, teams to go around in SPL to have your COE and to have your youth team. So these other players who are not in that ecosystem, where do they play, right? So if we provide more amateur leagues and different platform for amateur leagues to thrive on, then I think it will also have some crossover. For my case, Russ knows I played my very first not competitive, amateur football under his league. So that was back in 2011. So my team actually came about from D2D and then went on to other leagues and
amazing.
Eventually we went on to be in the island-wide, winning it on the first try, Division 2, winning it on the first try. Then unfortunately, because of COVID, we couldn't take on the Division 1. But what I'm saying is, if a team like mine that went a long way, and we had a lot of players along the way who played back then even in D2D, today playing in SPL, right? So we had back then in D2D, I think in 2011 I had Wailun playing in the team, and now Wailun is playing with me in Balestier Khalsa. So what I'm trying to say is, if we provide more platforms of such, players will continue their development, and then
and a progression, right?
A pathway.
Correct. So having said that, more like, even if you have so much training session going on, the only one way for the players to translate what they have learned in training is to play more games.
100%.
So you need more games across. It doesn't need to be a formal league, or it just, even if you play friendly games week in, week out, it's a game. That's where you apply what you learn in training. But there's just simply not enough games here in Singapore. It's more trainings, and everybody is fighting for the training slot, but for games, it's really very minimal, And also the other thing is, we need to look at a singular development structure, Currently, we have so many other parties who are doing development. You've got the clubs, you've got your Active SG, now you have the SFA, you have everybody, but
you have the La Liga and Dortmund coming in now.
So that again, you're providing so many different avenues, and there's no focus on one particular blueprint that we can work on together as one. I think that is one thing which we really need to address. And of course, last of all is to have an enhanced professional league with good career prospects, lah. As I mentioned earlier about the pay and all that. And I think with that, it's very important for the clubs to start to commercialize. When I mean commercialize, I don't mean the LCS privatization. What I mean by commercializing is the club have to think outside the box of not just depending on like, say, for example, jackpot income,
seed money.
Yeah, seed money. They need to slowly garner their own revenue. Like what we are trying to do. I mean, it was a very long shot for us. It was very tough in a sense where we were not able, whatever we wanted to do in the first place. When I first came on board, we were on a Thai brand called Marwin. And then the following year, what I did was I did a fan competition. We get fans to design our jersey, and then the winning designs were selected and we produce it physically. So that particular year was a hit. We actually sold about almost 700 pieces of teamwear, and that was a figure that Balestier had never seen before. 700 pieces of jerseys sold in a single season. So later on, when we went on to Adidas, we had our challenges, because the market, the commercial market for Singapore is rather small. So nobody carried that many stocks. So even if you have the ability to sell, the kit makers are not able to support you with that, right? So that's why we went through Western and all that so that we can have the best, because they carry the most inventory, and of course with the support of Adidas, we will be able to garner better numbers in terms of supply. So with that, I think that now for merchandising in Balestier has provided another revenue stream for the club. Yeah. So slowly we are moving away from jackpot and all the other vice income that we have in football. I still feel that the major few things that we need to have is to have a proper clubhouse that offers good facilities for members, and with that, in the same clubhouse, we will need to have retail spaces to sell merchandise, and also provide maybe even F&B and all that, and provide a home for people to be proud to be part of a club.
To be part of the club, it's like a family club.
Correct. So like people in the yesteryears, our parents' days, they will go and join the SEC, the SRC, and the country clubs, right? So today, the young people of our generation, we don't fancy all that, but we wouldn't mind to be part of a football club where we can go there and hang out, and pay a membership fee and then help the club. And I also still feel that the community owned club would be a good model for the rest of the clubs who are not like the Lion City Sailors kind of direction. Even like say for Balestier for that matter, to get fans to buy in and own part of the club, that would be one interesting project that we are working on at the moment.
That's the German model, right?
That's the German model, yes.
Correct. Yeah. So basically in Germany, it's still like, for example, majority shares still belong to the club, but the fans can buy up to 49% or 51% of the club, and they have a lot of say. And I think like, at one period of time, JDT also wanted to do the same, getting engagement from the fans and all that. And of course, people will have a lot of arguments saying that those are big populated areas where you got good numbers in terms of support. But for us in Singapore, I think it's important that we are part of our surrounding. Today in Singapore, we have lost their identity. Even as Singaporeans, we don't talk about football in per se. We talk about our general sentiment. With this COVID, our neighbors are also our enemy because we're scared they got COVID, we close the door, right? So we have lost the sense of identity of being a Singaporean. And I think football plays a very important role to bring everybody back.
100%. Well said, man. Well said, Don. Well said. That was the cherry on top of the cake, man. You took it there.
Thanks for sharing a lot, Don.
Yeah, thanks, man.
My pleasure. It's not often that we get to speak, you see, because of course we do not want to appear controversial in our views in public and all that. But in such forum like this where everything is guided, I think it's good time to share and to understand the thoughts of individuals in football, and not just being generic, thinking that everybody in FA is the same, or everybody in football is the same. Like for me, if I don't go out today and tell you I'm a volunteer, people probably think before this I'm just doing everything for my own benefit, right?
Man, Wow, when you told me you're a volunteer, it just blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
I pay for my own parking at the stadium, by the way.
Wow. But really a lot of insights to the club and the FAS, and really interesting. But you got my word, man. You got my word. I'm coming to see you guys, man, next season. I'll be there.
Forward.
Yeah, look forward to having you. So we are moving on to our trivia questions. And Russ, I'm having some technical issues on my side. If you can start the trivia question, that would be perfect.
Never mind. I think just go ahead with what you have.
So I can't bring up the questions.
Oh, that's your problem. Okay.
That's the problem.
All right, let's go then.
My laptop is gonna go.
So we're gonna go with some true or false questions, Darwin. The first is Manchester United were the first British team to win the European Cup, now known as the Champions League. Is that true or false?
Champions League.
Yeah, European Cup, when it was known as the European Cup.
Oh, based on European Cup, I think true.
Oh, it's false. The first team was Celtic.
Okay.
Yeah. So Alex Ferguson wanted Roy Keane to be Manchester United's number 7 before David Beckham took it.
True,
correct. Eric Cantona Kung Fu kicked the fan during a game for Manchester United. So easy.
True.
Okay. Manchester United legend Ryan Giggs spent time with Manchester City as a schoolboy footballer.
I think it's true.
Yeah. You're right. The famous dab dance move was invented by Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard.
Dab? I don't think so,
Yeah, correct. You're right. Yeah. I take that as false. Yes.
Yeah, false.
This is from our time. Manchester United once pulled out of the FA Cup in order to play in the Club World Cup.
True.
Yeah. Uruguayan striker Diego Forlan did not score a single goal in 2 years at Manchester United. Oh, come on.
Oh, I think it's true.
No, false.
Forlan. No, yeah, Forlan false. Yeah.
Yeah, how can you forget 2 goals against Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah, so next one. Irish golfer Rory McIlroy supports Manchester United and is friends with Alex Ferguson.
True.
Yeah. Alex Ferguson did not win the league with Manchester United until 7th season in charge.
7th season, yes, true.
Manchester United are the only British club to have won the Club World Cup.
British club?
Yeah. Club World Cup.
Club World Cup. I think it's true.
No, false.
No, false.
After that, of course, our friends at Liverpool, they've won it.
Oh, okay.
Our dear friends,
that was insignificant to me, that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good one. Okay. If we have 1 minute, I just loaded it up, so I can take over now and just the next minute. Okay. Right. So now it's not true or false. I'll give you some options, Don, and then you can take it from there. So which team took on Man United in the Battle of the Buffet? Is it A, Liverpool, B, Arsenal, C, Man City, or D, Chelsea? So they took on United in what we call the Battle of the Buffet.
Battle of the Buffet.
There was an incident where, everybody was throwing the food at each other after the game.
Okay, I can't.
2004.
I pass on this one. I cannot remember.
No, you got choice. A, Liverpool, B, Arsenal, C, Man City, D, Chelsea.
Chelsea?
No, it's Arsenal. You remember Cesc Fabregas throwing the pizza at Alex Ferguson or something like that, along those lines?
Yeah. that was the game where United beat Arsenal to end their unbeaten run.
Oh, okay. That season. Okay.
So they call it the Battle of the Buffet.
Okay.
Who was Alex Ferguson first signing as Manchester United manager? A, Massimo Tiabi, B, Viv Anderson, C, Steve Bruce, D, Sean Goater. Massimo Tiabi, Viv Anderson, Steve Bruce, or Sean Goater?
Would it be Viv Anderson?
Viv Anderson is absolutely right. So his first signing was actually Viv Anderson. I have completely no idea who the player is.
Yes. Former England international.
Yeah, former England, yes.
So what were George Best, Dennis Law, and Bobby Charlton referred to? Okay. A, Backstreet Boys, B, One Direction, C, Holy Trinity, or D, Wu-Tang Clan?
Of course, C, Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity.
If
I was
anyone
thinking-
who doesn't know this, then they won't be a Man U fan.
I
Alright.
think you'll be surprised. A lot of people might not know this, Darwin.
Bro, they probably call it the
But the rest of the options
One
was a
Direction.
giveaway lah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, who was the only player to win a European Golden Boot while playing for Man United? A, Diego Forlan, B, Ruud van Nistelrooy, C, Ronaldo, or D, Kleberson?
European Golden Boot.
European Golden Boot.
European Golden Boot.
Forlan, Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo, Kleberson. I don't know why I put Kleberson there, but that's life.
Would it be Listroy?
It's actually Ronaldo. Ronaldo had a
Okay.
season. Ronaldo, I think it was 08. I think he
Oh,
scored.
it should be, okay.
So in the 08 Champions League final, who was the only fellow who missed the penalty? A, Wes Brown, B, Vidic, C, Hargreaves, or D, Ronaldo?
Missing the penalty.
Missing the penalty. He missed the penalty. That joker who gave us all a heart attack. The United player. Wes Brown, Vidic, Hargreaves, or Ronaldo?
Was it Vidic?
No, it was Ronaldo.
Oh, Ronaldo, Okay.
That guy. Okay. Before they became Man United, what was the club known as? A, Manchester Devils. B, Red Manchester Newtons. C, Newton Heath, or D, Newton Devils?
Newton Heath.
Absolutely right, Newton Heath. Okay, this is the last one. Yeah, you have to get this right. Yeah, who is referred to as the king in Man United?
The king.
The king. Who is referred to as?
There can only be one king, right?
There's only one
There's
king.
a King Eric lah.
King Eric is the one. Eric Cantona.
Yeah.
I had baby. If you hear my options, Mike Phelan, Eric Cantona, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and Bebe. You remember
Zlatan is the devil. He's not the king.
I got Bebe. So yeah, let's wrap up the question. Thank you. I'm sorry, just having some technical difficulties, but I hope you enjoyed the questions.
Yeah, no worries.
And that's it from me, Ras.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Thanks a lot, Darwin. You spoke a lot at length with passion as well as usual. You know what I know you as, and with great detail as well. You know, sharing a lot about your role at Balestier Khalsa, what your plans are about FAS. A lot of light shine on it for people. So you know, whoever's listening in, I hope you are enlightened at the end of this episode. So it's a pleasure talking to you, Darwin.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me on
Ras.
the show.
Thank you, Darwin.
Yep.
It's our pleasure. It's an
I look forward to having you next season when the season kicks off.
My pleasure to be on the show.
Yes. Thank you. Good night.
Good night,
All right.
guys.
Good night, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.